everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Got a pretty little motor in here about a week or so ago and haven't had a chance to look at it and everything, so it's a real little cutie. Very practical, and I'll show you what I mean. And so let's get to looking at this little thing. Boom, boom. Here's the guy in question. Ain't that cute? A little 5-horse. I love the way that leg looks. Nice wide part down there and then nice and skinny. But that's just a very practical form of portable power there. Just think what you could do with that little engine. That'll move a pretty good sized skiff at a good clip for what it is. You could put that on the back of an ATV, into a float plane, bush plane, in the bow of a skiff. Don't have to worry about how you lay it down. You can just about grab it with one hand. All cleaned up and fixed up. It's going to start easy. Just, such a wonderful little portable package. And I just love the look of it. She got some dirty on her. Little salt. Now look at the room in that bonnet. Little salt down there. Little rust. Oh yeah, she'll clean up. Got the old style 9.5 fuel pump. You can never have too much fuel filter. So, it is a points engine. So we'll have to clean up some points. Clean up some carburetor. Pop a flywheel, tear apart a starter. Okay. Even though there's some salt, the transom clamps are free. So we got some work to do. So let's tear into this thing and see what we find. I'll be right back. Alright, you can see I got my spark spider hooked up. I've got compression gauge hooked up. You can see it's on 0. Of course I should. And so look right in here for spark. Got the 1/2 Milwaukee on it. So as you can see, there's no spark either cylinder. I got this hooked into the bottom, and hopefully you can see it. It's 120 psi on the bottom. Let's do the top. So 120 is good. And this is a dry compression test. I've squirted nothing into these cylinders. Okay, she's on 0. Let's give her a spin. Okay, that's top cylinder. Dead at 120 as well. So, perfect. So, we're going to have to get us a set of points in there. There's nothing but a thing. So let me get this flywheel off, and I may go ahead and pop the carb off as well, because it's going to have to come off. And so I'll strip it down, be right back, and I'll let you see it after I strip it down. Okay, I wanted to kind of show you guys if you've got old junk tools, sometimes they're very handy to have. If you look at this little breaker bar and socket here, solid rust. I got it out of the garbage. That socket, believe it or not, does come off. So you can see they're both rusty pieces of junk, and you're like, why would you want to even keep something like that? Well, I have impact guns and stuff, but a lot of times when I'm taking off these flywheel nuts, I'll just take a piece of heavy cord like this, stick in one of the cylinders, feed 10-12 inches of that into the cylinder, and then instead of getting out my impact and all that, I take this old rusty piece of junk tool, and this is what I call my slap hammer, and that gets that nut broke. And that way I don't have to take my snap-on or mat tools, and you can see what I've been beating on this one for years. But old rusty junk like this has a purpose. I use it a lot of times. It's quicker, so I just grab it and slap it. And why do I call this my slap hammer? You can see it's welded. I don't want to take my good hammers. This is an old piece of junk, and I just welded a piece of pipe so that all the energy, when I pop that thing, goes right into that old rusty junk socket. So got the flywheel all loosened up, and I'm going to pop that off. So give me a minute and we'll see what's under there. We know it don't have any spark. Be right back. Okay, so took my nut, took my puller, and popped that loose. There's the puller for these smaller ones that I got, just your standard 3-slot. It's nice because these adjust in and out. So took my puller, got the flywheel off, and you knew it. And lucky with this little motor here, which it's of the year, so of the right age, so it should have it. But it's got the, you know, the newer coils. So all we should have to do there is either clean, or I'll just, since it's a customer's engine, I'll go ahead and put a new set in. But the coils look real good, no cracks. Keyway, flywheel keys, nice, and a little bit of salt here and there under there. But so we'll replace the points and condensers. I'll test the coils on my coil tester, and if anybody would like, I'll show you how my coil tester works. The one I got is a Stevens 75. It'll test these style coils and the CD power pack coils. So it'll do the old ones and the new ones. So if anybody's interested, let me know and I'll make a video on how I test those. So I'll test those coils, get some new points and condenser. I didn't take off the carburetor yet. I'm going to have to take off the starter. I'm going to have to take off all this. So I'll just keep plugging along. I just wanted to show you what I got after I popped the flywheel. So there she is, coming along. Alright, continuing on with this little 5-horse. I'm doing the points now. I don't really have a lot to add to how to do points. There's a lot of different ways that people, little things they do. One thing that I will, a couple of things that I will say when I do them. Now, how you set them and adjust them is going to be up to you. The manual, of course, you're going to adjust them to 20 thousandths. But some people use a battery operated light so that when the points open and close, the light goes off and on. Some people use a feeler gauge. I'm going to use a feeler gauge on this one just for simplicity and so forth and keeping it quick. But something I I always do is this little thing. It's a magnet, a little stick magnet. That little clip on the top that holds the point on. So I take a pick, something about like that one, and then as I'm picking that or pushing that thing out with the pick, I always use this to catch it, because although the new points will come with it, the clip, if it goes flying, well, then what are you going to do? So I always use my little magnet stick in there, and there's the little clip sticking right on the magnet. And because, like I said, you get a new one in the package, but if it goes flying across the room somewhere, you've got the backup. So, boy, I don't know what else to say about the points. On this particular point package, they don't come all assembled. So I will say, put them together. They're going to come like this in 2 pieces. And so go ahead and assemble it. You got that spring-loaded piece that goes in behind here, and it's got that little brass clip that holds it on. So you want to go ahead and assemble that like so, and put the brass clip there so it goes on as one unit. I find that easier. Get your magnet stick before you pull off the little clip so that you got it, and then use whatever you like to use, a feeler gauge, a light, or whatever to adjust them. So that's really about it. There's lots of videos on YouTube on how to adjust points and so forth, but those are just the little tips I use. The magnet thing, pry the clip off, that way I always get it. It's also handy to have this to pick up the screws from the condensers and the points as you pull them out, so you don't drop them down in the bowels of the pan and so forth. But that's about really all I got. So let me get these points in there. And I've already put, oh, that's the other tip. If you don't do this a lot, do one side at a time. So I did this set of points. I haven't done that one yet. So that way, you, as you're doing this one, if you don't do these a lot, you got this one as a reference on how to put this one together and what screw goes where and all that. So do them. Don't just pull everything off and then, oh, how did that go? Do one set, get it done, do the other set. And like I said, your little clip, have your magnet there, so when you pry that off, boop, you got it. That's about all I can really add to the points thing. So I'll be right back. Alright, I got the points in there, got the flywheel back on. I'm going to have to replace this recoil starter cord. It's way too short, and then I'll lube this all up and everything, get off the carburetor. But you can watch the spark spider right here. I got a good hot spark now. So we got good hot spark on the points. I got to get rid of that old fuel filter, get the carb off, get it taken apart, recoil taken apart. So I'll pull the carb and everything off, and then I'll show you what we find inside. Alrighty, here's what I found in the carb. Just a lot of gunk. Not overly bad, but the low speed adjustment is stuck in there. So what I'm going to have to do is, once I take the float and so forth off, and the rotten Venturi gasket, I'll replace all the gaskets, the bowl gasket, Venturi gasket, and probably the quart too. I believe I have a plastic one. Not saying anything's wrong with that quart, but anyway, she's just gunked up, but I'm going to have to get it in the ultrasonic cleaner and let it soak for probably a couple good hours with heat on it to get this low speed adjustment out of there, so I can get at this Venturi tube and all in here. I'll pop that Welch plug out and put some penetrating oil down in there and carb cleaner and so forth, and slowly coax her apart, but nothing Nothing overly surprising in there, just a lot of tar, a lot of caramel and stuff in there, so it'll clean up. So let me finish getting her apart and get her in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'll be back. Alright, finishing up with this little 5 Evinrude. The carburetor didn't have any surprises, just old. I do believe this engine hasn't had a lot of service since its original age. I did age it. It's a 1966. New points, new condensers, carburetor, gaskets, washers, and seals, new pull cord, then just cleaned things up and adjusted things, and she runs real nice. It's pumping water just fine, but I'm going to put a new water pump impeller because the owner told me get it squared away, get it reliable, and so even though it's pumping water fine and cooling fine, I want to get a new water pump impeller in there. I have one, I just got to get to that, but it's at that point to start her up, and let's take a listen to her. So here she is. Little Evinrude 5. Nice little motor. So let's squeeze some bulb. Put this probably right about there. Now this is a start in gear. You can see on the side it says stop, start, and fast. Doesn't say anything about shift. You notice here this says throttle. Moves a lot of water nice. Good running little kicker. Give it just a little more. Oops, too much. New fuel filter, new plug, clean the carburetor, full start, new cord, points condenser, so that'll be a wrap. Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead and shut her down. So, 1966, just pure goodness. Like I said, this little motor, I don't know what it weighs, but you can pick it up with one hand, no problem. It's a long shaft. What a nice little piece of good American-made portable power. It amazes me, the people who are bringing these to me and going, can you get this back in service? And I know why it's happening, is because the 4-strokes, with all their good qualities, quiet, clean, fuel efficient, they're just not that motor. This thing, like I said, throw it in a bush plane, throw it on the back of a wheeler, in the bow of a skid. You take one and put all new ignition parts in it, new carburetor kit, maybe a pull, recoil spring, or just whatever they need, and you've got and clean it all up really good. Wash it, hot soap and water, clean it all up, dry it off inside, lube it all up, and you've got a fine little piece of portable power there. This thing, for just running you to and from the beach or the harbor or whatever, is an outstanding little motor. So she's ready to go, and I know the owner will be really pleased with it. It moves a lot of water for such a light little package, and so and because it's a long shaft, it'll work on most of your Lund-type boats and stuff, and be a good backup kicker in case you needed to get to the beach or whatnot. So she's all good to go. I know I got a little long-winded on this one, but again, thanks for watching.